Jim Tarbox, a rejected Chrysler dealer. What if tomorrow everything you have worked for, all your wealth, your job, your business, and your rights were taken away from you and were given to someone else? How would that make you feel? I can tell you, it's devastating. This is exactly what happened to me. I'm 42 years old and I have a wife and 3 young girls. I've been wiped out with nowhere to go. All that I have worked for has been taken away from me. Living the American dream as a small business owner, doing everything right, vanished, wiped out. My businesses will go bankrupt, and I may have to go bankrupt. I will lose everything. When I received word my 2 dealerships were rejected, I was flabbergasted. It was awful. I never thought for a second that my dealerships were going to be rejected. What was Chrysler's criteria for closing dealerships? Your guess is as good as mine. My family has been in the car business for 3 generations and has a respected name in my home state and beyond. This is the industry I grew up in, the industry I know, and the industry I love. I'm proud to say that I built a Jeep dealership in Rhode Island that was one of the highest volume Jeep dealers in the Northeast. By selling over 750 new Jeeps in Rhode Island, I was the highest performing dealer in the entire state, comparing to all Chrysler dealers. I was rated in the top 5% nationally. I exceeded sales goals each year and performed above and beyond any expectations set by Chrysler. To have them shut my dealership down with only a few weeks' notice was shocking, to say the least. If not for performance, what was the criteria for closure? In fact, it seems the closure was based on personality and not on performance. I know Chrysler targeted me for closure. Due to my success, Chrysler urged me to buy another dealership, a Chrysler Jeep dealership in Attleboro, Massachusetts in 2007. They had promised me the open point of Dodge and were negotiating site control for relocation. Just after I closed, Chrysler said that the only way I was to get Dodge would be to allow them to put another Jeep point in my market in Rhode Island. They used their promises as leverage. I protested their intent under Rhode Island state franchise laws. That was my right. Chrysler continued to pursue this matter through the worst economic crisis in years. After I incurred legal fees in excess of $80,000, they withdrew their intent. As a result, Chrysler went bankrupt and rejected both my dealerships. I know Chrysler targeted me for closure. I have an email to prove it, and so does the U.S. Bankruptcy Court. Chrysler executives said in an email I was a belligerent and combative dealer. Why would they say this? They said this because I stopped another Jeep dealer from entering my market. Just a few months prior, I was their hero, winning all sorts of awards for performance, and now I'm a belligerent, combative dealer who has been rejected and who will lose everything. Chrysler executives wrote, "This is going to be a tough one. His dealerships are performing fine, with good scorecards." And the reply from Phil Scroggins, the Northeast Business Center director, "He's a belligerent, combative dealer who litigates and protests any new Jeep franchise in the Providence, Rhode Island area. Management made decision to cut him. He has not operated in good faith." What does this mean? This is outrageous. This email makes it quite evident that the selection process was arbitrary, unfair, and inappropriate. I was targeted, and I am sure many others were as well. Chrysler and the task force have taken everything away from me. I am still obligated to pay for 2 businesses I no longer have. $2 million is still owed to the bank for franchises that have been taken away from me and which are being handed to someone else. In addition to my personal strife, 45 employees have been laid off, many of them suffering similar hardships. Finally, the state of Rhode Island has lost $3 million in annual tax revenue, and all the businesses that have contributed to the success of Tarbox Motors have lost a valuable client. As a dealer, our property and contractual rights have been violated. I ask Congress to hold Chrysler's feet to the fire and demand fairness in this process. Again, how would you feel if everything you have ever worked for, was taken away from you and given to someone else. This is severe, this is unfair, this is wrong. Something needs to be done. Isn't this America? Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read a portion of it and ask you a question, okay?
Okay.
It says, John and Dina, I spoke with Phil Scroggin. Who is Phil Scroggin?
As I said, he's our Northeast Business Center manager.
Okay. At our New York Business Center on this just now. This is going to be a tough one. His dealerships are performing fine. I take it Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and he has good scorecard. All right, that's the end of the first sentence. What is the subject of this email next to the subject line?
Senator Reed, dealer inquiry.
All right, that's a United States Senator?
I presume so.
Rhode Island? Okay. And this is in reference to which dealership, which Chrysler dealership?
It's in reference to Tarbox.
All right, and Tarbox has two dealerships, does he not?
That's right.
One in Massachusetts and one in Rhode Island?
That's correct.
And Mr. Tarbox interposed a protest objection to either a relocation or an add point, didn't he?
Yes.
He did, and he won that case, didn't he?
No, he didn't win the case. We withdrew the action.
So in response to his protest, you decided not to go forward with the market activity?
That's correct.
Okay. Would you read the next sentence into the record?
He is a belligerent, combative dealer who litigates and protests any new Jeep franchises in Provo, Rhode Island area. So management made decision to cut him. He has not operated in good faith.
All right. So without going into the details of this case, Mr. Grady, you would agree that the decision to reject a dealer should only be on the merits?
Yeah, like this one was.
This one was on the merits. Is it one of the criteria that a belligerent, combative dealer should not stay with the dealer network? So wouldn't you expect an email about whether he should stay or go to reflect exactly what you just said instead of that he's a belligerent, combative dealer?
I would expect that.
But that's not what this says, does it?
No.